The export of elephants to zoos and captivity has to be questioned as a legal and moral reason. Now, in all fairness, I think the professor has advanced a proper legal way on how South African law can be challenged or interrogated. But with me is a few exhibits and a few anecdotes of evidence that can point to you that the time is now. We've heard from esteemed panelists and amazing elephant experts that it's an animal welfare concern that elephants cannot survive in zoos. Countries with zoos argue that they need elephants for conservation education. Now, I've put that in quotes and I criticize it heavily because there's a body of knowledge out there that says that is no longer conservation education. I had an amazing photo, I would love for that to be put up, that shows ideally what it is that we're calling conservation education. I went to the Oregon Zoo just when they had just opened the new elephant exhibit. And I can tell you for sure, those were the most miserable animals I've ever seen. I was there for 6 seconds. Turns out, that's double the national average of 3 seconds. The minute you get your selfie, they walk away. Now, to the older chaps in this group, you might not understand selfies, but trust me, it's a whole new level of vanity, and that's what it looks like. Zoos are just circuses. I keep on saying this. The only difference is that elephants in zoos are not doing cartwheels and push-ups. Exhibit B. Countries with elephants have been warned by CITES. We just came from CITES where we came back saying, oh, that was an amazing victory for us. But key things happened in CITES that needs to be brought to the fore. You cannot export an elephant to a region where it can't survive in, of course, for obvious reason. I'm dumbing it down for every single person who's streaming in. You must satisfy and consult the Animal Committee of CITES and the IUCN African Elephant Specialist Group. I can tell you that is one of the most amazing group, if not the highest concentration of elephant experts on the planet. If they tell you you can't do it, please do not wait for the reports. Most legal system treats the subjects of law as either people or property. There is no third category. So property does not have guaranteed protections and rights. We understand that. Because domestic animals are economic assets, the law has always regarded animals as property. Again, we're reminded, a legal person must not only be human. This has been put out very clearly. I think the capture of this word is that we use person, such that every Jim Golaki looks at that and goes like, ah, that is human beings. But the truth is, companies have long had this legal recognition. They are able to act in court in their own right for business efficacy. I honestly believe it's time elephants got this same level for conservation efficacy. In 2017, New Zealand granted legal personhood to a river in order to boost the power of local Maoris to protect it. In the same year, the High Court of the Indian state of Uttarakhand gave legal personhood to the Ganges in the Yamuna River in its territory. We've heard about Mugabe's elephants. They're an amazing book that Colin is out there signing for everybody. And I can tell you this, that was the first entry point. The president recognized that it was so special that he needed to issue out a presidential decree. If they won't do it in law, he decided to do a presidential decree. He noticed these animals are so special. The only leap we need to do is to do that for all elephants. The routes are there. Exhibit D, in the past few years, animal rights lawyers have started to win cases, which is amazing for us. In 2014, the Criminal Appeals Court in Argentina said Sandra, an orangutan in the Buenos Aires Zoo, was a non-human person. This was a ruling on welfare. The biggest victory came in 2016 when a judge in Mendoza, also in Argentina, ruled that Cecilia, a chimpanzee, was a non-human person who had been arbitrarily deprived of her freedom by being in a city zoo. He ordered her to be taken to a sanctuary in Brazil where she remains. Quoting the language of judges shows you where we're going where the law is shifting to. Legislature could be so rigid, but case law, and especially what judges say, is very important to us because it points to us where we're going. What are their interpretations? How are they balancing them with society's expectations? It is not absurd that a corporation can be treated as a legal entity. It's given corporate personhood, but another non-human entity that can actually has sentience cannot. That's a judge writing that. Even if animals do not become legal agents that have rights that can be defended in courts of law, we must, at the very least, reinforce the legal duty not to abuse any sentient entity. Clearly, all the science from all the scientists here points that there are serious animal welfare concerns in zoos. We have closed that loop. Further, even if we agree that humans and animals are fundamentally different, this conclusion does not give license for instrumental use and zealous abuse with no accountability. An animal does not have the same legal rights as a human, but legal duties and considerations must nonetheless be emphasized. This duty is not due to the animal capacity to reason, speech, or language. Rather, it is due to their significant sentience. If one feels pain, one has a right to be defended against that pain and collectively have a duty to prevent that needless pain. This is the decade that our legislation and court rulings must advance in one form or another to adequately ensure our laws are just towards all sentient beings like elephants. Any court should find elephants as persons in recognition of the modern scientific evidence and justice. The professor put it so eloquently. I can stand in court, but I need you scientists behind me advancing this evidence.